Hello and welcome to On Second Street. Today we're going to be talking about the nation's drug problem, border security issues, and foreign interference in Canada. We've got an excellent guest lined up whose fingerprints have been on uncovering all kinds of important stories related to these issues in Canada. Joining me today is Sam Cooper. He's the founder of the Bureau news site. He's an award-winning journalist. And like I say, Sam's fingerprints have been on so many important issues in this country and helping to bring them to the attention of Canadians. Sam, thanks for taking a few minutes to chat with us today. Wonder if we could maybe start by talking about the drug war in Canada. One drug in particular, fentanyl, has been responsible for around 50,000 deaths since 2016. I mean, that's an astounding number if you think about it. Imagine where the Toronto Blue Jays play in Toronto there, the Sky Dome, full of people. I mean, that's roughly how many people have died. It's a huge problem. Um, Sam, when this issue comes up, it seems like some people say, well, it's because of China. We've got all this fentanyl material coming in from China, and others will say, well, no, we've got our own homegrown problems too, where people are creating the drug here. From where you sit, what do you see as sort of the biggest problem when it comes to fentanyl in this country?
The biggest problem is something that it's really snuck up on us. But as a young reporter in Vancouver, I became acutely aware this is around the 2010 period that there were gang wars that were rocking the city. There were people showing up burned in cars, in farm fields. I believe, it started to be the case, just gruesome executions. People, I hate to say it, drug dealers were found, I believe, decapitated. And so this is something that the
Wow.
rest of the country appeared to not really be aware of. But what has occurred over the past 10 to 15 years is Mexican cartels have set up in Canada very strongly in Vancouver, also in Ontario and Quebec. But my work as a
Mhm.
reporter in Vancouver deeply delved into the fact that Chinese transnational crime, what are known as triads, have been embedding in Canadian society since the late 1980s. And so my work
Mhm.
discovered that indeed, fentanyl precursors and finished fentanyl were flowing into Canada, but really it's more about the industrial scale level of precursors coming into Vancouver's port and Canada becoming
Mhm.
essentially a decentralized production hub for fentanyl for that, the supply chain starts in China and the Mexican cartels are brought into that narco mixture. And it's shocking for people to understand that Canada, due to weak laws, has become a home for these most brutal and sophisticated of transnational gang networks.
So this has been a growing problem, as you said. It's gotten worse and worse and worse over the years. Are we at a stage now where we're finally seeing the government take it seriously enough to try and combat what's going on, or do you think we still have a lot more to go in terms of deploying more resources into nipping this issue in the bud?
We have a lot farther to go in terms of political will, legal frameworks. And I'll give you an example. I know that there's been some pushback on the claims of the Trump administration. A lot of Canadians have sort of denied or doubted the fact that Canada has become a
Mhm.
fentanyl exporter nation, but that's a fact. And as I've reported for the Bureau,
Mhm.
BC Mayor Brad West disclosed that Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited him in 2023. Mayor West being a strong voice against, the harms of fentanyl, the billions laundered through Vancouver's real estate in blood money, as Mayor West said. And the point here is that
Mm.
a Biden administration official told Mayor West Canada has weak laws on organized crime. The U.S. is looking for partners to counter global fentanyl trafficking. And Canada
Mhm.
simply hasn't been a good partner on that issue. This message has been conveyed for years, as I'm reporting, but only has it come to the surface with very strong threats from the Trump administration. Very late in the game, it seems that under threats of tariffs of 25%, Canada's government appears to, be putting out the message that they're willing now to work with the Trump administration. But the proof will be
Mhm.
in the legal reforms, in the actual prosecutions.
Okay, when we come back, we'll unpack this border issue and what's going on between sort of the US's concerns about drugs in Canada and how much is seeping over the border. We'll be back in just a moment.